Hey guys, I hope you're all well. Right, gonna do a little bit of stripping. Don't panic, not me. Stay tuned in, I promise. Right, I'm gonna start lighting the load. I've tried getting this on the bench this morning. Not happening. Not happening on my own. I can get it on there, but I tried to put it on its centre stand and it all started feeling like it was going to go south, so I stopped. Then I tried like holding it and sliding the jack under. No, it wasn't feeling good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start pulling things off it while it's on the floor. I know a lot of you are interested in the weight of the things that come off and stuff, so I'm going to go down and get the scales. I've got some scales that go up to 25 kilo, which should be enough for the individual parts that are coming off the bike. So we'll go and grab them in a moment and we'll start weighing everything. I'm going to write it all down and then we'll compare it with the new stuff that's going on the bike, and then that should give us an idea of the overall weight when it's done, because I've done a lot of searching on this of curbside weight. There's people coming up with different weights, and I know there's dry weight and wet weight and things like that, but some saying 242 kilo, some saying 249 kilo. Not quite sure why that is. Is there differences in slightly different models? I've put the year of the bike in, and yeah, I think there's actually about 3 different weights. So if we say 245 kilo, we're going to be somewhere near. And like I say, we'll weigh everything that comes off and weigh all the new stuff. We'll see what the difference is. That's my phone pinging, that's got to go off. We'll see what the difference is, and that'll give us an idea of the overall weight when we're done. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get the seat off, we're going to get the tank off, we're going to get this great big beak off it, and then you'll be able to see what I mean with this top part of the frame. We'll call it a frame, although it doesn't resemble a frame at all. You'll see what I mean when we get all the tank off. And then we'll start coming up with some ideas of how I'm going to do the rear end and things like that. Now, I've been looking at seats. I think to get the look I want, I'm going to make my own seat base, because the shape of the seat, I sort of want it in the shape of like a motocross seat, but a tiny bit wider to match the bulk of the bike, but not as wide as this thing. Because yeah, I'm just trying to skinny the back end up a tiny bit, and with a narrower seat it's much more comfortable when you're standing up going across the rough terrain. And one thing I did notice when I was going across the rough stuff, obviously when you're coming down, sometimes you scrub a bit of speed off with the back brake, or keep the bike in control by applying the back brake here and there. Half the time I couldn't find it with my foot. It's in a weird place, it's quite low down, and I had to keep looking down to put my foot on the brake, which is never any good when you're hanging off the side of a mountain. You need to be looking where you're going. So I'll be modifying that brake for sure, because yeah, I did struggle with that a couple of times. So yeah, I think tank, seat, everything off the tail unit, crash bars, front nose. I've still got to have it rollable, because I'm hoping a friend's going to come over next week and I'll be able to get it on the bench to do the rest of it, because I want it on the bench to remove the front end, because we'll have it on the jacks and strapped down. Anyway, let's get on with it. Seats off first. This back one comes off quite easy, it's just the front one that's a bit awkward. I don't know what to do with these. Will they sell? I do not know. There seems to be, yeah, eBay seems to be flooded with them. Apparently these were recovered and had gel pads put in them, so maybe they'll sell because of that reason. We'll see. Like I say, anything that does sell will obviously be injected back into the build to help out with things, but we'll see. Now this is the awkward. There we go. How does that come out? No, get it all out. Obviously, all this will be gone. I may make provisions to put some tools on it somewhere, but not here. Right, let's get all this tray off from the tool tray. Blue's up here keeping an eye on things. You coming in, Blue? Come on. Come on, mate. Oh, what are you up to? Eh? What are you up to? No, don't eat the seat. Yeah, look at your big dirty paw marks on it now. So that's fitted here as well. I think it's had a few odd fixings here and there over time, which is understandable with the age of the bike. Repairs and maintenance that's gone on over the years, I guess. So this Sunday I'm off to Newark, good old Newark Auto Jumble, Sunday 20th that is. Hopefully I might spot some things there, who knows, but I always stock up on me grinding discs and blue roll and things like that there anyway, and it's a morning out for a walk round. You never know what you might spot there. Go for the early bird ticket as well so I can zoom round before it gets too packed. Right, that's that off. That's not too heavy at all. The old luggage rack. This rack will definitely be going on eBay because I'm going to make my own. The panniers, it has got panniers again. There's so many out there for sale. I think a lot of the stuff that I do remove off this bike I'm not using again. I don't think too much of it is sellable, but we'll see. Come on, just like that. Oh, there's another one in there. There's one hiding at the bottom. There we go, that's one. Yeah, so they'll be getting moved on. We're not going to use them. Oops. There we go, that's them off. Right, let's get the harness to the rear lights. Get the little zip ties off. Let's see if it just unplugs. I'm guessing it will. Oh, there's one plug. There's another plug. Where's that one going to? Oh, looks like one goes in. Oh no, that's already in. Oh, what's that then? That's a spare plug. What's that for? I wonder if that's like an auxiliary to perhaps panniers with lights in or something. I do not know. this is now flopping about, so I'm guessing, is that just clipped on down here, or have we got other fixings? Oh, looks like we've got screws there. Screw that side. Let's get it unplugged first. Oh, that's easy enough. Right, that should be the back light severed. I don't know about that one. Looks like it's going into the fuse box, that one. Let's have a look in here. Right, so there's not too much going on in there. A few relays and some fuses, so that could be reduced. I could make a much smaller box for that, so we have all the correct things going on, the correct carriers for everything, but mount them in a smaller box. I reckon I can lose this under the tank where the ABS unit would have been. I'm pretty sure we can do that, which will get it out the back end, which will be good. Yeah, that there's no need for the box to be that big, so we'll just see if we can unscrew that so we can get at the wire that's going to the back. Drop that. Right, let's there we got that. Oh, they're in awkward places, aren't they? I'll show you in a minute. There's a huge clump of wire in here. I'm surprised this hasn't got another plug on. So I'm going to drop the back light and see if we can unplug it at that end. Because like I say, for now I want to keep the wiring all together so I can see what I'm going to do with it. Hopefully we'll find a plug behind here. There we are, it's coming. That's it, we won in the end. Right, here's all the wiring into the fuse box. I'm amazed that backlight hasn't got a plug, unless that's it hiding in there. Let's just cut these straps off. Hopefully that white thing is the plug. So it'd be nice to be able to just unplug everything and not start chomping through wires. No, that goes straight into the harness. Or is it up there? Oh, look at all that lot. What's all that lot about? There are all the joiners, look. Look at that. Plug in there, is there? No, that's just a gland where it went into the box. Yeah. Nice one, BMW. You're making it difficult for me. Yeah, they're all going up into these joiners. So at least we know that lot. Yeah. Let me have a think about that before I put the snips through it. No, I'm gonna have to snip it. So it's all tied into the harness properly, so I've got no choice. It's not a big problem. Obviously we know where they're going, to the back light. So I'll snip them individually, just in case I'm going to short anything expensive out. There we go, job done, point of no return. Now we should be able to release that big lump. Yes. Ooh, she's getting lighter. Okay, tank. Yes, it is a tank. A tank and a half. Right, what we got here? That one I think is one other side. Let's pull out there. We'll be using that again, but we'll get that covered. Probably put some stickers on there when we're at that stage. Always have an air intake this side, so let's pull off, lift the lid up, that might help. There we go. That's the air filter there. I'm going to try and keep all that in place. So we don't want to mess about with the air intake or nothing like that. We want the bike to run right. Wow, I didn't drop the nut. It's a miracle. Just got the fixing on the one side, I think. Yep. Right. What we got under there? Oh, don't drop it. What we got under there, we've got to disconnect. Several hoses, which look like a complete pain to get at. Okay, I think I've got all the fuel pipes off, so luckily the tank is on a single plug. Oh, straight off with that. That was easy enough. I think that is the tank all disconnected, ready to uncover the big scary jungle. Right. I need to put that somewhere safe. Oh, more fuel coming out. Stop it. That's the tank off. See, if I was clever, I probably would have drained the fuel out of that first. Okay, now we can see a bit more. And you can see how strange things are on this bike with the headstock part that's not really an headstock as we know it. So there we go. It's looking a bit lighter already. So I think, you gotta bear with me, I don't know too much about these bikes. I think that's where the ABS unit would have gone. So my idea, and I will add, they're all just ideas at the moment. They're not plans set in stone. So I think that is possibly an ideal place to get all the fuses and relays. We'll make a better box, which is a lot smaller. As you can see, a lot of the compartments in there are not used, so you can see what's actually used, which is this bank here, that bank there, and a bank of fuses there. if you can imagine, we can reduce that into a box just big enough to fit all that in. That will definitely go there, no problem at all. Now I know getting to it will be a bit harder than just putting the key in and lifting your seat up, but if I perhaps do something with, because the tank's got one fixing, I could probably put something on there where it can be undone with your fingers, some, you know, like a wing nut or something like that. Probably not a wing nut, but something similar, where if it does blow a fuse, you can get at it without spanners and lift the tank. Like I say, these are all just ideas at the moment. So what we've got then with the front end, this is it. This is literally all that's holding the front end of this bike. So it starts down here. We've got the bracket that comes up. This is all fixed. I'll say it's one big alloy casting. And then we've got a brace bar. You see the rusty old nut there. We've got a brace bar that comes down here. Where's that end? Just in there, look. So we've got that and that. That is it. Quite scary. But obviously it works fine. And then obviously we've got the telelever bit here, this great big chunk of material there. So there's nothing to it, absolutely nothing to it, is there? And I think we can do something there that will work. Now I fully understand with this telelever it's sharing the load of the front end, so I have got some plans that I'm sort of swilling around in my head. So I'm thinking, one of the plans being, obviously at some point this week I want to take all this off and we'll get the front end off. That'll be when I've got it on the bench. I'm not going to undo this. I want all them fixing points to be able to make a jig off this unit here. So I want to get all that off in one piece, keep it sort of bolted up, so I've got that mounting point and that mounting point, get that on the bench and make the jig from this unit. And I think what I'll probably do, because obviously we're putting it onto an headstock. I've done the headstock, by the way. We'll have a look at that in a moment as well. I'm thinking of possibly bringing some framework down here. I think I might have mentioned that before. I'm bringing it into where the telelever's mounted as well. So we've got some good mounting points for that front end. Also, I've seen under the under tray, I don't think we'll pick it out. Let's see, it might be a bit dark. Just where my finger's wiggling there, there's another big lug coming off the bottom of the engine. Now depending, I'll have to have a think about it. I may even bring 2 frame spars down to that as well. Now I've seen this done before. It has been done before. And a few of you have pointed that out in the comments as well. And they literally use them 3 mounting points, that's it. As in that one, and that one. So normally they bring 3 down, they bring that one down, they bring another one down to where the telelever is, and then this one back here. So I think with them 3 mounting points, we're definitely going to be strong enough, definitely. And then you best to create as much triangulation as possible, and that's where the strength will be. I'll say I may even bring 2 front frame spars down to that bottom lug at the base of the engine. But within all that, there'll be a nice mounting point for the oil cooler as well, because obviously all this will be gone. We'll have a nice big void here for the oil cooler to fit in comfortably. I think that's probably the best place to put it. But yeah, there you go. You can see how weird it all is. And in between all this, nothing. And then the rear, the rear subframe, if you can just get at that. Oh, it's too much in the way. Let's say the rear subframe just bolts into there, where just there, basically there and there. So what I think I might do when I come to build the subframe for the whatever I do with the seat is start it all from here. Sever this off there, sever it off there, then build what I need to use whatever back end I go with. And then that way it keeps all this part standard, because I don't want to mess with air filters and nothing like that. That is obviously tested and proven, and it 100% works. So I want to keep all that, and it's proper protection from the water and everything like that, and we know the bike runs correctly. But yeah, back end wise, I think we'll go from here onwards. Obviously I'm going to have no passenger footrests on. I'm not interested in that, so that'll be a bit of a weight loss as well. It's pretty straightforward really. It probably looks a bit scary, but it's all pretty straightforward. As soon as I make my jig off this front bit for the mounting points, we can't go wrong. And again, with the forks, with the rake and everything, the 1150, which this is, the 1200 and the 1250, are all slightly different. We're in just a couple of degrees. So I am going to keep it. I'm probably going to keep it as it is now, the rake of the forks. At the end of the day, people do convert these with a 21-inch front wheel, so we know it's going to clear in its standard sort of trim, standard rake. I don't want to mess about with that too much, because as it is, as the bike stands, we know that works. So I'll pretty much set this bike up as probably the same height it is at the minute, the same rake. So the only thing that changes, it's got a different front end. Yeah, it's it's amazing, isn't it? Literally that mounted there, well, there and there. That is it. Like I say, we will add a bit of strength by bringing another spar down and bring it into where the telly lever's mounted. That way we've got good triangulation, spreading the load a lot better. I'm not 100% sure, possibly two that come right down to the big lug that's on the bottom of the engine as well. Not 100% sure about that yet. Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward really. Wiring, as you can see, we got a big clutch of scary plugs here with lots and lots of wires. I'm guessing a couple of them will sever the front light and all the dash. Now I am going to be careful how I do that. I'm not just going to be ripping everything out. I'm going to be very careful. I'm actually going to get a manual for the bike so I can see all the wiring harness, see what's doing what's going what. Obviously, most importantly, we can't be severing anything that makes the bike run, and I want to try and do it the simplest way possible. Now I've also thought about a standalone system for the lights, because obviously we've put in that enduro light on. Oh yeah, let's have a look at the dash, because this is a part of what we're thinking out next. So there's the dash for it. I won't get it out of the box yet, but it's a nice little unit that's got all the warning lights as well. So your indicators, oil light and all that sort of stuff, high beam, low beam, all the little warning lights in the top there. So that's going to be can only imagine a damn sight lighter and what's on it. So yeah, we'll be very careful with the wiring, because it can get a bit weird on things like this, and we don't want to be chomping stuff through and all of a sudden we've got a problem that the bike don't run. So yeah, I'm going to be very careful when it comes to that bit. I shall unplug stuff and keep trying the bike. And like I say, what I might do is a complete standalone wiring harness for the lights, for the dash, and then we'll just sort of plumb into the wires for the oil light and things like that. And that will save ripping loads of wires out. If we can just get away with unplugging stuff, like I say, it'd be nice to do this bike so it's reversible, if you know what I mean. It'd be nice to do it that way. So if that all that front end just unplugs and everything's still happy and the bike runs, yes, I might do a complete standalone system. I think you can actually buy these very basic harnesses for enduro bikes to power up all the lights. So I'll probably make something like that, then we've got no worries. And like I say, if that just unplugs and everything's still okay, that'll be a really simple way of going about it. But there's a lot to think of. There's going to be a lot of trial and error, I guess. But I'd like to take the simplest route possible with the wiring. So I think next we'll have a look at that front end, see if we can get that off. Okay, so I've chased the harness out of the whole front end there, and we've just done 3 plugs, so that ain't too bad. So obviously I'm going to get myself a manual for the bike, just for obviously the wiring harness, so we can see what's what. So I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. Famous last words. Like I say, I don't want to sort of cut into the wiring harness and completely destroy it. If I can link out to get the oil light, the indicators and things like that, that'll be much, much easier. I don't think it's going to be too bad. It looks a bit scary, but fingers crossed, it's going to be fairly straightforward. I know I've obviously disconnected the tank and everything. I've pulled all these plugs, and the bike did fire up, although obviously briefly because it's no longer got fuel feed. So it's done nothing scary by disconnecting all that front, which is brilliant. Oh, what's this one? Oh, let's just check this side as well. And there we go, a couple of more plugs. Is that out for this side? Here. Okay. Okay, there might be a couple of more wires. Couple, like 20 of them. Is that going up there? I will soon find out. I think the bolt's trapped in. Might need a bit of helping hand. It's coming loose. I think I'll let that rest there so you can see the rest of these wires a bit better. Hopefully we've got a plug and these are going into the main harness. We will see. We're going in a bit deeper. I want to try and get the oil cooler out. And the wires that are going down this side, we'll see what they're connected to. Obviously we're going in a little bit blind with this because we haven't got a manual, but I'm sure we'll be okay. At least it's getting lighter as we go along. Digging deeper. Okay, that, oh, speedo cable. All this electricity and we're on a normal good old fashioned speedo cable. There we go. Right, that should come off. Yes. Woohoo! That's not too bad. So it's far less scary on what it looks. So the other wires going down this side is just the lights. I'm quite happy about that. Surprisingly. Now we can get it off. There we go. Is that our little side light? Yes. There we go. That's that side of the harness. Unplugged some shoddy wiring to the indicators. No bother. What's that one? Indicators again. Right. Yeah, just trying to get at the oil cooler. And then we can, I think we'll be free then to pull the front end off. Removing the oil cooler is a complete mystery. You'll never change one of them in a hurry. I'm hoping these 4 screws under here might get me somewhere closer. Wow. There's a lot going on holding this front end together. It's still not loose. That's insane. What else is there? This is mad. I reckon when I get this off, a building will fall down in Australia. Come on. Is that a screw? No. That's quite crazy. Oh. No, it can't be that. I only want the oil cooler. Give me the oil cooler. It's loose. It's like a loose tooth. Oh, knees. I bet one of you is watching and screaming at me. Because you've done this before. Undo that one down there and it'll all come apart. Ooh, I can see some more. I've just spotted more fixings. This has got to be it, surely. These ones in here. That's gotta do it. I'll drop that. Oh, it's that time of day where the floor's getting further away. When you drop something. Oh, I think we've sorted that bit. Right, a little bit closer to the oil cooler. Wow. There's its great big beak gone at last. One more fixing, I think. That's gotta be it. That's it. Sorted. Right, that's a big chunk done. Before we continue, the Enfield special stickers, Tracy sent the last lot out today, so we'll give it a few days. We'll probably have to give it a few days into next week actually, because it's now Friday. So we'll get time for everyone to receive them and iron out any last minute problems, and then we'll be doing the draw on that. So again, massive thank you to you all that's been involved with that, and good luck to every single one of you. Yeah, and it'd be nice to get it out the shed now, although it's my favourite one. Obviously we need the space. Anyway, here we go. We now have the blank canvas. It looks a bit different, doesn't it? And there it all is on the floor. So that's quite a bit off it actually. You can, even when I moved it a minute ago, pulling it off the stand, you can feel the difference. But yeah, so basically all that you see there is what's staying off it. None of that is going back on. So what I'll do, I know I said I was going to weigh it, but it's getting late. My back's telling me to go and sit down. So we'll do, on the next video, we'll have a little bit of a weigh-in on some of that stuff compared to some of the stuff we've put in back on it. We'll do that next. So there we go. You can all see now what's got to be done. Get all this bit all sorted. Like I say, I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be fairly simple really to sort all that out. And I'll definitely have extra mounting points on that to sort of compensate with this. Definitely going to bring some framework out and up to the headstock that I'm going to fit, and like I say, possibly 2 frame spars down to a lug, a good chunky lug that's at the bottom of the engine there. Not 100% sure about that yet, but maybe if I do, it could be frame tubes that bolt on top and bottom. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll get that off when I've got it on the bench, and we'll make a jig out of that so we've got all the fixing points perfect. I did finish the let's have a quick look at that. I did finish the headstock. Let's go over here. There that is. The bearings ain't pressed in all the way yet, but that's ready to go. That took forever, but it's sorted now. And as you know, we've got the tubes up there in the roof ready to do the little bit of framework there. So that is it. I'm looking forward to pulling the rest of that front end off. Obviously the oil cooler will then live back here in there. I'll have shorter lines made up so it all looks nice and neat, and that very strange front end will be gone. Yeah, it's certainly different. That's how I'll put it. Oh, I got the guard off this side, but that side the bolt is stuck solid, so I'm gonna have to cut that one off. Well, cut through the bolt anyway, so I don't destroy the hand guards. Although they're not going back on this, they could be a saleable item. And obviously all this is going to be gone for the later stuff, and well, the whole front end, as you know. So that is it. We can see a bit more of the direction we're going to take now. I think the back end's going to be quite straightforward. Here's Blue to come and kick everything over. Where are you going? Come on, clumsy. Hello, mate. Hello.
Good lad, good lad. So yeah, obviously exhaust is not going back on. We've got that small silencer.
Oh, there's been a few people ask about that silencer. It came off eBay. Just search universal silencer, and that's where it came from. I made sure it was getting shipped from the UK. That's all I did with that, and there's loads of them on there, absolutely loads. I think I did share a link with someone who asked, but there's been a few of you ask. I'll see if I can get on with that later. But yes, it came off eBay. You should just put in universal silencer, you'll see them all on there. Like I say, there's tons of them.
So yeah, back end, like I say, I think I'm going to sever it from here and here, so we're still keeping all the original position for the shop mount. We're not going to disturb that, and we'll just do what's got to be suited for whatever I do on the back end. So that's going to be quite straightforward really. I'm going to keep all these hangers original, but I'll be changing the footrests because they're far too narrow and it's quite uncomfortable when you're standing up doing a bit off-road. So they'll be changed, and obviously everything will be getting powder coated, new bolts and everything, so it'll all look nice and neat. That silly thing off the back will be coming off. I don't want that on there. And obviously we'll be doing stuff like completely rebuilding the rear wheel with stainless spokes. That'll be all sorted. We'll make a little guard for the oil cooler when that's in its new home back here. There's lots to do. I think it's all fairly straightforward. I'm glad that the wiring is not too scary. It all seems pretty straightforward. It all unplugs, as you've seen, majority of it. So we'll be able to, when I get a manual on the bike, I'll be able to see which one's which, the oil warning light and things like that, and then we'll connect all that up to the new Speedo. The new Speedo is obviously digital, so we've got to put a magnet and a pickup on the back wheel. So, and again, that's all quite straightforward. So I think it's going to be quite an enjoyable project. Well, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be on the bench next week and we'll drag that front end out of it. So I'm pretty much sorted now. I'm going to be back into my stride of things next week. I've obviously, like I said, half a week on this, and the other half of the week catching up with all my other jobs. So we should get a regular flow of videos on this bike, which will be nice. So that's pretty much it. I think that'll do for this video. Like I say, we'll weigh some of the stuff in the next one and just keep ploughing ahead now. Thank you to everyone for the comments. That really has surprised me. Even people who are not a fan of these bikes, thank you to you guys, because a lot of you said you're going to stick around and see what happens to it, even though you're not a fan of these, which is great. So I appreciate you all, every single one of you. It's amazing, and we'll just see how it turns out. Hopefully we'll do a lot of improvements on its looks and its ability off-road, obviously. That'll do. I'm going to sit down. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care.